Hey everybody, Jordan Bean here with the voice of the Chargers Josh Lewin doing our weekly check-in, although we missed Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving.
My
And it
bad.
was, no, hey, I understand turkey calls, and for the Chargers it was a very happy Thanksgiving weekend. They get a win over the Jags, and a guy that caught your eye was number 52, Denzel Perryman.
Well, the Chargers made it a point during the draft. They wanted somebody who played with bad intentions. And, I go back far enough. Some Charger fans will remember Steve Foley or even Randall Godfrey. These are guys that just tackled, and they tackled hard. I mean, they wanted to leave an imprint. So there's a difference between just making a stop and making a difference. And I think Denzel is one of those guys who really wants to make a difference, wants to hear the contact, and I think he really delights in that. So the fact that he was making all those tackles right at the line of scrimmage, setting a tone, I thought Manti played really well off of that too. Obviously, he had the interception, which is huge, but Manti just seemed to hit plenty hard in that game as well. I think everybody feeds off Denzel.
And those stops allow the Chargers to get some 3-and-outs and get better field position. Their best field position of 2015 started at an average at the 30-yard line, and what a difference that makes, right?
And it's amazing. They're still dead last in the NFL even after that great week. I mean, Manti makes that interception, gives them the plus 23. And even when you factor that, I mean, that's how far down the list they were. So to get that right, or at least show that they can point towards getting that right, is huge. You're putting so much on a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Phillip is the guy that you want leading them 90 yards downfield. But the fact that it is so often 90 is a problem. And if it can be 60 yards downfield or 23 yards downfield, in that case after the pick, that really does help a lot.
Well, it helped in that win, and now the Chargers come back home to San Diego to face the Denver Broncos, coming off a great win themselves over those Patriots in the snow on a Sunday night. And it's not Peyton Manning under center. It's going to be Brock Osweiler. What have you seen out of the fourth-year kid out of Arizona?
Yeah, it's really weird to prepare for a Denver game and not have to do any prep on Peyton Manning, and it doesn't mean that the Chargers are out of the woods, because Brock Osweiler can really play. It reminds me a little bit of when Jeff Hostetler sat for all those years behind Phil Simms. In fact, I think Hostetler sat for 7 years before he finally got a chance. And, and it happens a lot in sports or really in life. Somebody will say, boy, he's an overnight sensation. What's his secret? Well, it's been 42 months this kid has been waiting. He's not really even a kid anymore. He's 25, and he's been preparing for this moment. And the fact that it's happening now, I mean, you've got this iconic quarterback that seems to be towards the end of the road anyway, in Peyton Manning. And Kobe Bryant's at the end of his road, and Tiger Woods is at the end of his road. So all these icons kind of all at once are kind of heading off into the sunset a little bit. But, Peyton may come back and still do something amazing. If he doesn't, Brock Osweiler can really play. I mean, you don't often see a guy at that quarterback position who's almost 6'8".
Right.
So that that in and of itself is really different, and he's a guy that absolutely knows what he's doing.
He's a one-year starter at Arizona State, and what a graduate school education he got essentially in the NFL under Peyton Manning, and a guy who can teach a master's class on defense is Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, I should say, under Gary Kubiak. What does this Denver defense do differently maybe this year than they did last year? Is it just still the same guys just keep working?
They just do so much so well, and it's funny because there's been enough turnover that there's no one on that team, offense or defense, has been with them since 2008. Everybody is 09 and beyond. But, the guys that they bring in, whether it's through free agency like DeMarcus Ware a couple of years ago, or the guys that they draft, people want to pay attention to Von Miller. I understand that. They want to pay attention to Ware, and they should if he plays. He's got a bad back. But, they've got linebackers there that just hit you hard. I mean, a couple of Perryman types in there. I love watching Trevathan play, for example, and Brandon Marshall, the other Brandon Marshall.
Yes.
Really, really good player, too. So they're the number one defense in the NFL for a reason. Aqib Talib will pick you off and take it to the house. There's a lot of people, and you're right, Wade sets that tone for them as he did here when he was with the Chargers. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and everybody performs.
Josh, can't wait for the game on Sunday. Can't wait to hear your call. Thanks so much.
Me too. Thank you very much, buddy.